modern women are deeply traumatized. Have you realized this? There's something seriously wrong with modern women. This isn't going to be a red pill rant. This is going to be deeper. This is going to be going to the spiritual roots of this dilemma that we have with particularly modern Western women. What we got going on right now is unlike anything that we've ever seen before. And even to speak of this is considered taboo. So that should tell you a lot. But what we have right now is a pandemic of women who believe that they don't need men. They believe that they can do it by themselves. They believe that they can provide for themselves, that they can provide for themselves financially, emotionally, physically. They believe that men can be reduced to toys and thrills and meal tickets, sponsors, basically. Kind of like what you have on an OnlyFans account. You got your sponsors. You got your people who sponsor you. And the reason this has happened is not because women are inherently flawed. It's not because there's something wrong with women. It's not because they're innately slutty or innately promiscuous. This has happened because we have abused women. We haven't treated them like we need to treat them to get the best out of them. You see, when you treat your car like shit, you put the wrong fuel in it, you put the wrong oil in it, you don't service it regularly, it is going to turn into a pile of shit pretty quickly. It's not going to function properly. What we're seeing today with modern women, with this pandemic of promiscuity, this independent attitude where women have shunted men out of their heart. They've pushed men out of their heart. They've closed off their hearts. This is a malfunction. It's not a fundamental flaw. It's a malfunction based on incorrect treatment, incorrect use, incorrect understanding of how to approach the feminine, how to be with women. And, who's to say where all this started? But on a personal sense, like for me personally, I've come to this point where I'm so sick of interacting with women like I'm interacting with a man, right? I'm so sick of feeling like I'm on the outside of a woman's heart because she doesn't trust me, she doesn't feel safe. And it's not necessarily because I've done something to make her feel that. Have you noticed that when you rock up on the scene in a woman's life, she's already carrying these wounds. She's already carrying this deep spiritual psychological trauma where she is actually fractured away from her heart. She can't operate out of her heart just by default. And something tells me this isn't normal. This isn't how it used to be. When I look at footage of women in the 1950s, earlier era, before modernism, before postmodernism, before feminism, back when everything made a lot more sense. Back when there were clear gender roles, right? If I look at women from back then, and I listen to the way they spoke, I read the dialogues between men and women back then in Western culture, it was very different. It was far less toxic, it was far less manipulative. It was far more heart-based. But there's been so much abuse. There's been so much of this just constant, unending abuse of women. I'm not saying there hasn't been abuse of men too. It goes both ways. But it's just gotten to this point where they have to be like that. They have to be stone cold. They have to be independent. They have to be distant. They have to be aloof. You know, all these traits that we would associate more with a masculine personality, we see in modern women, where they'll just shut you out and you're just done. You can do one wrong thing and you're just shut out and you're just done. And she's gone. She's emotionally gone. She's checked out. I've experienced this firsthand, and it's fucking horrible. It's like there's no second chance. You were just done. And I think it's tough for us as men because it's like, what the fuck am I meant to do? How do I create a sense of safety for you when it seems like everything I do is a trigger for your deep wound, your deep psychological, spiritual insecurity? This deep pain in your heart, everything I do just seems to trigger that and activate that. Like, what do I have to become for you to feel safe enough where you will open up your heart? Where you'll actually let me in and you'll start behaving feminine. You will actually allow yourself to depend on me emotionally as a man, like I believe it should be, to some extent. You know, we've got all these ideas about how you're meant to have two wholes coming together to create a greater whole. But I feel that a lot of this is just bullshit, bro. I feel that psychologically, it's healthy for a woman to depend on a man. Something about that feels very natural to me, because if you look at our history, if you look at the way that humans have developed, coming from hunter-gatherers, you know, being tribal based for the majority of our history, living in small clans, traveling, being mobile, women had to be dependent on men. And men depended on women to a certain extent for other things. But women had to be, what am I trying to say? They had to trust us. They had to trust us completely. They had to let us in. But today it just feels like there's no trust. There's zero trust. Even if you develop a relationship with a woman, you build rapport, you go deep with her, it's like there's still this lack of trust, this coldness. And it's fucking disturbing, bro, because it's like, I don't know how to change that. So that's my rant. Got some kids coming along on bikes right now. I want to hear what you think about this.